My name is Kay Thompson. Until recently, I thought my life was perfectly, boringly normal. I was 37, married to Walter for 13 hollow years, and our whole world was our bright, patient daughter, Adelie. Walter and I hadn't been husband and wife in years. We were co-parents, sharing a mortgage and a deep, unspoken resentment. He'd grown cold, distant, criticizing my weight, a change born from pregnancy-related kidney issues I couldn't control. His favorite phrase was, "You don't understand anything, Kay." I felt myself shrinking in his shadow, becoming the quiet, forgettable woman he insisted I was. The crack in our fragile world appeared during spring break. Adelie came home rubbing her leg. "Mom, it hurts. Not a sharp pain, a deep, heavy one, like my bone is tired." When Adelie, my stoic, never complains child, spoke up, you listened. A chill, primitive and cold, crept down my spine. We went to the Moorhead Clinic, the same small-town practice we'd used for years, now run by the elegant, confident Dr. Monica. She was a community pillar, the daughter of our old family doctor. I trusted her implicitly. The visit was a blur of sterile smells and soft lighting. Dr. Monica's demeanor shifted the moment she examined Adelie's leg. Her practiced smile vanished, replaced by a grave, focused intensity. "Let's get an X-ray, Kay," she said, her voice losing its warmth. I held Adelie's hand, whispering empty comforts as the machine hummed. "It's going to be okay, sweetheart," but my own heart was a trapped bird beating against my ribs. Dr. Monica called me back alone. She didn't meet my eyes, instead staring at the ghostly image on the light board. "This doesn't look good, Kay." "What do you mean, not good?" My voice sounded thin, far away. She sidestepped the question. "I think it would be best to admit her, immediately. We need to start treatment." "Treatment for what?" She finally turned, and the words she delivered were like two physical blows to the chest. "Adelie has osteosarcoma. It's a type of pediatric bone cancer." Pediatric cancer. The words didn't just echo, they swallowed the room. The floor felt unsteady. "Cancer? Are you sure? From one X-ray?" "The signs are clear to a trained eye," she said, her tone brooking no argument. "We can't waste time. I've already arranged a room. We'll start a targeted IV protocol today. It's aggressive but necessary." Blind, numb terror took over. When a doctor says cancer and urgent, you don't question, you obey. I signed the forms with a trembling hand, my vision blurred by tears I refused to shed in front of my daughter. Walter's reaction that night was what finally broke something open inside me. Not with a snap, but with a slow, sickening tear. I called him, my voice shaking. "Walter, it's Adelie, the doctor. She says it's cancer, osteosarcoma." A long pause. I could hear the faint sound of a television. Then, flatly, "I see. That's tough." Another pause. "Just leave it to Dr. Monica. She knows what she's doing." And before I could say another word, "I've got an early meeting. Don't wait up." The line went dead. I stood in my kitchen, the phone slick in my hand, and felt a new emotion eclipse the fear, a white-hot, silent rage. His child had just been diagnosed with cancer, and his concern was an early meeting. At the clinic, Adelie was a sad ghost in a too-big hospital gown. They'd hooked her up to 4 different IV drips. "They say it's medicine, Mom, but I feel worse, heavy and sleepy." Her eyes, usually so bright, were dull. "How long do I have to be here? I was going to try out for the soccer team." Every visit chipped away at my soul. Then, one afternoon, she asked the question that would become the catalyst for everything. "Dad hasn't come to visit at all, has he?" She wasn't asking, she was confirming a heartbreaking truth. I confronted Walter that evening, desperation making my voice sharp. "She's asking for you, Walter. She's scared and alone in that clinic." His response was a masterpiece of cruel pragmatism. "Kay, I'm on the cusp of becoming department head. This is a 15-year career culmination. If I start taking unexplained time off for a sick child," he said the words as if they were distasteful, "it raises flags. It shows instability. If this promotion falls through because of this, what then? We'll be stuck in this financial mediocrity forever. You need to handle it." "Handle it? She has cancer." "You don't understand anything about the real world," he shouted, his face twisting with a contempt so familiar it was like a brand. "You don't understand anything." The phrase was a key turning in a rusty lock. It didn't make me feel small this time. It made me think. And I thought of the two people Walter had always been oddly threatened by. My brother Elmer, a no-nonsense trauma nurse with the build of a linebacker and a mind like a steel trap, and his wife, Cora, a brilliant, no-BS diagnostic radiologist at Central Hospital. The perfect couple, Walter called them with a sneer, the professionals. In my panic, I'd forgotten them. I called, sobbing, the story tumbling out in broken pieces, the x-ray, the immediate diagnosis, the 4 IVs, the isolation. Their faces on the screen hardened from concern to outright alarm. Osteosarcoma? Diagnosed from a single x-ray at a primary care clinic? Cora's voice was razor sharp. "Kay, that's not just unusual, it's medically negligent. Where are the blood panels, the CT scan, the MRI? You don't hospitalize a child and start aggressive chemo based on a shadow on an x-ray." Elmer leaned in, his expression grim. 4 IVs? What are the drugs? Did you see the names? I hadn't. I was just the overwhelmed mother, the amateur. "You need to get her out of there," Cora stated, her diagnostic mind already clicking through possibilities, none of them good. "Now, today. If they're administering something inappropriate, every minute counts." "How?" I whispered, feeling utterly powerless. "You call 911, Elmer said, his voice leaving no room for argument. "You report a medical emergency and suspected malpractice. That's your job. We'll handle the medical and legal side. We're already looking into Dr. Monica." The plan was set in motion with military precision. I drove to the clinic, a strange calm settling over me. This was no longer about fear, it was about survival. Ajali was paler, weaker. She barely stirred when I entered. The sight fueled my resolve. Instead of hitting the nurse call button, I dialed 911 from her room, my voice low and urgent. "I'm at the Moorhead Clinic. My daughter is a patient here. I believe she is being medically harmed. I need an ambulance and police. Now." The next 10 minutes were a tense ballet. The ambulance arrived just as Cora's SUV screeched into the lot. She exploded from the car in her white coat, a figure of furious authority. She blew past the front desk nurse and into Adali's room. Her expert eyes scanned the IV bags. I saw her blood run cold. "Kay," she hissed, her fingers already flying to disconnect the lines. "This dosage, this combination, it's not treatment, it's poisoning. It would induce cardiac stress and systemic failure. They're making her sicker." Just then, Dr. Monica burst in, her composure shattered. "What is the meaning of this? You can't just—" "I'm Dr. Cora Vance, Central Hospital," Cora shot back, not pausing her work. "And I'm this child's aunt. I am taking her into emergency care due to suspected intentional overdose and malpractice. You will provide all charts and drug logs to the authorities. Now." The word intentional hung in the air. Dr. Monica's face contorted, not with guilt, but with a furious, panicked defiance. "You have no right. You're sabotaging her care." The paramedics, taking cues from Cora's clear authority, had Adali on a gurney and moving within seconds. As we rushed out, Cora turned at the door, pointing a finger at Monica. "This isn't over. I know what I'm looking at, and so will the police." At Central Hospital, the emergency team worked fast. They identified the drugs, a dangerous cocktail of sedatives and unmarked chemotherapeutic agents, dosed for an adult, not a child. "This would have killed her within 72 hours, the lead ER doctor said, his face pale with anger. A rapid CT scan was done. The results came back. "There's no tumor," the doctor told me, his voice heavy with disbelief. "What she has is a severe but treatable case of juvenile arthritis, exacerbated by a massive toxic drug load." The cancer was a lie. The world tilted. A lie. A constructed nightmare. But why? The answer came in the dead of night. Cora and Elmer had arranged a private room, a trap disguised as a courtesy. If she's bold enough to do this, she'll be bold enough to try to finish it, Cora had said grimly. I pretended to sleep. The door whispered open. Silhouetted in the hallway light was Dr. Monica. She moved to Adali's bedside, pulling a syringe and a small vial from her pocket. I'm sorry, sweetie, she murmured, not to Adali, but to herself. This is the only way. As she uncapped the syringe, I moved. All the weight Walter mocked, all the strength I'd gained carrying groceries and lifting a growing child, I put into that lunge. I wasn't a fragile woman anymore. I was a mother bear. I hit her with the force of my entire body, slamming her into the wall, pinning her. The syringe clattered away. What are you doing? I roared. She gasped, struggling. Get off! You're crushing me! Mom! Adali screamed, jolting awake. Call button, now! The room flooded with light as Elmer burst in, followed by Cora. And behind them, looking confused and irritated, was Walter. What's all this noise? Kay, what is... He stopped, seeing Monica pinned under me, Elmer restraining her. Monica, what... Why are you here? Walter, she sobbed, all pretense gone. It's over. They know everything. Know what? He blustered, but the fear in his eyes was undeniable. Cora held up the vial Elmer retrieved. A concentrated neuromuscular blocker, enough to stop a child's heart in minutes. You were going to make it look like a sudden, tragic complication from her cancer, weren't you, doctor? Clean, neat, and very, very profitable. Walter's face collapsed. The facade of the busy executive evaporated, leaving a desperate, small man. The department head promotion, Cora continued, her voice like ice. We made some calls. It wasn't pending. It was denied, after an audit found discrepancies, embezzlement discrepancies, $250,000. I stared at Walter, the final piece clicking into a horrifying picture. The insurance policy, I breathed. You took out a new life insurance policy on Adali last month for $250,000. I had no choice, Walter screamed, his dignity gone. They were going to prosecute. I'd lose everything, the house, the cars, my standing. This was the only way to replace the funds quickly. So you and your girlfriend decided to murder our daughter? My voice was terrifyingly quiet. She's not my girlfriend, he protested, then faltered as Dr. Monica wept on the floor. We had an understanding after you were gone and the money came through. After I was gone, the chill returned, deeper now. A grieving, overweight mother with a history of depression, Cora said, voicing the unthinkable. After losing her only child to a tragic illness, the suicide would be tragic but unsurprising, and the double indemnity payout on the life insurance, it would solve all his problems, wouldn't it, Walter? At that moment, 2 state police detectives entered. Walter Thompson, Monica Moorhead, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, insurance fraud, and criminal malpractice. As they were read their rights, I walked up to Walter. All the love, the years, the shared dreams had curdled into pure, distilled contempt. Did you ever love her, even for a second? He looked at Adali, who was clinging to Cora, watching her father with shattered eyes. She was a cute baby, he said, his voice empty. But she was starting to look like you, to act like you. I didn't want that life anymore. I didn't slap him. I simply looked at the stranger before me. Our lawyer will be in touch. I want a divorce, the house sold, and every cent of alimony and child support you will ever owe paid in one lump sum from your frozen assets. If you ever come within a mile of us again, I will use the rest of my life to destroy what's left of yours. He was led away, Dr. Monica sobbing beside him. The aftermath was a numb haze of legal proceedings. They were both convicted. The story was a local scandal that made our old life untenable. My brother and Cora, our unwavering guardians, had an offer. They were taking over a struggling community clinic in a remote mountainous county hours away. They needed a clinic manager. They wanted family around them. They wanted us. We moved. The air was clean, the pace was slow, and the people were kind. The clinic, once a lonely building, thrived under their care. Adelie's pain faded completely. It had been the poison, not the arthritis. She grew like a weed, joined the county soccer team, and her laughter returned, echoing in our new, safe home. Walter's money, extracted through the courts, bought us security. My salary bought us purpose. I wasn't Kay, the overlooked wife. I was Kay, the clinic manager. I was Kay, Adelie's mother. I learned a terrible, powerful truth. Sometimes the most dangerous monsters don't live under the bed. They sit across from you at breakfast, and they wear the white coat of a healer. But I also learned that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the love for your child becoming louder than the terror. And revenge isn't always violent. Sometimes it's simply surviving, thriving, and building a beautiful life on the ashes of the one they tried to burn down. Our new life isn't perfect, but it's real, it's honest, and it's ours.